All right, in this video, we're going to talk about geometry, parallel lines, and transversals. We're going to talk about their different measures and how those measures relate. In another video, we talked about the ones that were how they were formed by two parallel lines cut by a transversal. Now we're going to talk about the relationships between each of those angles and how they're created. Okay, our corresponding angles. Okay, our corresponding angles are the same angles in each cluster. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding, angle 2 and angle 6, angle 3 and angle 7, angle 4 and angle 8. They're corresponding angles. And when we deal with corresponding angles are congruent. Wow, that's pi. That's not what I wanted. How about congruent and or equal? Okay, they're measures. Okay, so if we look at these angles, if I know that angle 1 is 38 degrees, okay, and as just said, angle 1 corresponds to angle 5. So that means if angle 1 is 38 degrees, and I know corresponding angles are equal or congruent, that means that angle 5 is also 38 degrees. All right, so that gives us that opportunity to come up with those particular functions. Because there are times when you will see a drawing such as this, and all they'll give you is one angle, and they will expect you to come up with the measurements for all the other angles in the diagram. And that's one that we can handle. It's not that big a deal as we move forward. Our alternate interior angles, okay? Now, I only know the measures. Oh, now that I know angle 5, I now know an interior angle. So I need an alternate interior angle. Now, alternate interior angles, if you look at our diagram, two parallel lines cut by transversal, angle 5 and angle 4 are alternate interior angles. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're between, it means they're interior, between the two parallel lines. So giving us that information, alternate interior angles are also congruent or equal. So that means angle 5 and angle 4 are alternate interior angles, and angle 6 and angle 3 are alternate interior angles. So if angle 5 is 38 degrees, that means angle 4 is also 38 degrees, which gives us that opportunity to come up with that number. Then our next one is we're going to talk about is the alternate exterior angles and the relationship there. So again, we know what angle 1 is. Alternate meaning opposite sides of the transversal, and exterior means it's on the outside of the two parallel lines. The interior angles were between the two parallel lines. The exterior is obviously outside the two parallel lines. So we know what angle 1 is from our 38 degrees there. The alternate exterior angle from in this diagram is angle 8. Now, the relationship between alternate exterior angles is the fact that they are also congruent or equal to each other. So congruent or equal to each other. So if angle 1 is 38 degrees, that means that angle 8 is also 38 degrees. All right, so now all we've done is come up with our alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, corresponding angles. So now we've got a bunch of stuff, but we don't have, they're all the same measure. And we know looking at the diagram, there's no way that they're all the same measure. So we need to find one that's a little different. And the one that is the same side interior angles. Same side of the transversal and interior angles between the two parallel lines. So we know the measure of angles 4 and angle 5. Okay. And the relationship between same side interior angles is the same side interior angles are supplementary. Supplementary means you have two angles or more that add together to give me 180 degrees. So supplementary angles, two angles that are added together to give me 180 degrees. So they're supplementary. Supplementary. So as we look at this, angle 5 and angle 3 are same side interior angles. They're on the same side of the transversal. They're between the two parallel lines, so they're same side interior angles. So that means that angle 5 plus angle 3, how about if I actually put numbers in there? That would be awesome. Make everybody's life easier. Angle 5 plus angle 3 equals 180 and 80 degrees. Now we know from earlier that angle 5 is 38 degrees. So 38 plus angle 3 equals 180. We know from another video on solving an equation like this, what I have to do is I'm subtracting 38 from both sides. Those will cancel. I get angle 3 is equal to 142 degrees. So that means that angle 3 is 142 degrees. So now that I know that number, okay, I can find all of the other numbers in our system, okay? So corresponding angles, so looking back to corresponding angles, I know what angle 3 is now. Angle 3 corresponds to angle 7. So if angle 3 is 142, that means angle 7 is 142, okay? And if that's the case, angle 6 corresponds to angle 2. We don't know what that one is, but I do know what angle 7 is. Angle 7 is 142 degrees, and angle 2 is an alternate exterior angle from that. Opposite sides of the transversal, outside of the two parallel lines, and they're congruent. So angle 7 is 142. That means angle 2 has to be 142 with that. So the only one I don't know is angle 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are congruent. So 142 degrees, that means that angle 6 is 142 degrees. So the takeaway from our video is that corresponding angles, when you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, alternate exterior angles are congruent, and same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they add together to give 180 degrees. Once you have one angle, all you need is one of the 8 angles, and you should be able to find the other 8 around there. Thank you.